Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to this episode of the show, which we're calling the next 3 months. So we're going to be talking a little bit today about the energies of July, August, and September, as well as diving into a little bit more deeply what the next 30 days holds. So I want you to join me in this magical space. We can hang out together for a little bit, stepping out of your magical reality into mine here at TLC for the Soul. It's a windy, cool, rainy day today, a summer day. I wasn't expecting. I'm looking out the window that's across the hall. The oak trees are kind of like swaying in the breeze. And you can see a little bit, it's kind of gray and it's a little cold, and I've got arm warmers on, and I've got hot chocolate in my Lovebirds mug. Actually, this is a prototype Lovebirds mug. It's not the one I ended up going with, but this one was from another place it's not REDBUBBLE. But I kind of liked it, but I didn't like it, and so I just kept this one for myself. I've got hot chocolate. All right, let's get settled and let's just get right into it today. As I wrap us all in love, light, and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight our show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, and the Pleiadians and others. We have a big consortium of the Fae here today, and I will share why momentarily. As I get ourselves into all of this goodness that is the next 3 months. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, regardless of the platform. You could be listening via audio on any of many podcast providers, so welcome. Or you may be catching me on the video version over on YouTube. Regardless, welcome. Join our TLC for the Soul family. See if what we have to offer is something that feels exciting to you. If you're returning, thank you so much always for being here, my beautiful soul family. I am excited that you are here with me as always. I'm going to ask the guides that are here to kind of keep me. I'm always in my highest self. What are you talking about? Kind of keep me focused. Apparently I'm unfocused. Keep me focused on this show and this next 3-month episode. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of different timelines converging. There's a lot of other stuff you could be spending your 45 minutes or so on. So I'm glad that you are here with me. I'm going to just pull up, because I'm not going to jump right in. Wait a minute. What the heck are we talking about? I've been a little rusty with this lately. I don't know if you noticed. The other day, as I get my candle out, I've got our transformation candle out. The other day, I filmed a whole episode. So I've been offline a little bit the past week or so. I've been detoxing a bit, and my guides have had me I've been sleeping a lot. I would just I wasn't really having a good full night's sleep. Because of some of the detoxing I was doing. And so during the day, I would just suddenly be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And I would just lay down and I would be asleep for 2 hours. So this has been happening for the past week or so. And I finally feel like I'm coming out of that today. But I was the other day. This is our transformation candle. Just take a look at that. The other day, I filmed a whole episode for our Rainbow Rose Order initiation. And after I went back and kind of looked at it, I was like, I don't like this. It feels rushed and it feels, I don't know. It just didn't feel like, maybe it's the perfectionist in me, but it just didn't feel like TLC for the soul quality. I didn't like it. And then my guys took me offline again, and I was like, I'm just going to have to do this another time. I just felt so exhausted. Oh my God, the flame is huge. So fire coming back in. I've been working with the dragons a lot, working with rainbow dragons today, my rainbow arm warmers. And I have a plethora of shows that I want to record for all of us. And I was like, okay, y'all, which one do you want me to do first? And it's like this one, the 3 months, or the 777 portal, 7/7 portal, which is our third door activation from our keys and our doors that we've been working with for the past year or so. And they're like, you need to do the 3 months, 3-month one first. So at the beginning of the year, what am I looking for? I channeled in themes for the quarters of the year. And so we've got our candle going. See? Oh my God. All right, you guys. Let's just take a deep breath together. This is too much. Inviting in the guides who would like to help do some energy clearing around this sacred space, around those who are listening. It feels a little all over the place, and I want us to get grounded. The energy of the collective listening here feels a little ungrounded. Not saying I'm not, but I feel it too. Like it got even worse once I started recording. I was like, wow, like I'm actually even having trouble seeing. There's a lot coming in through the crown right now, down into the third eye with these some activations that are happening in this collective. And when that happens to me, I have trouble seeing clearly. I can barely see the screen. This reminds me of when a lot of high vibe energy is coming through. It's almost like, that blinded by the light kind of a feeling. That's how I'm feeling right now, like blinded by the light. So for me, let me just inhale arki uf gir in shikarkita brindir gurututantira kata kata kata. Take a deep breath. Release. This is all prep for Lionsgate. This influx of energies. When is it not prep for something, right? Kind of prepping us for Lionsgate. Many of you may already have we've been working with these Lionsgate energies for a while now, but it's ramping up even more and more and more once they're not some portal or influx of energies that we need to work with. But this feels particularly transcendental, they're saying. Yesterday I was taken offline. When I say taken offline, it's kind of like I have all these intentions to do something, and then Spirit steps in and is like, no, you're going to sit here and you're going to do this. And they had me do a shamanic journey, and I didn't really have any intention for it. I'm like, what do I want to do? And it was kind of like just whatever is most needed by me in this now. If I don't have a specific idea, I'm like, well, the guides obviously have something for me. So I sat in shamanic journey, and like I have a really big headache coming in right now. God, you guys, there's so much pressure in the crown. All right, so they took me on a shamanic journey with the Arcturians, and some of you that I've been, my soul family that I've been talking to offline, when we go into these Arcturians came in and they put me in a pod. It wasn't technically a healing pod. It had a very specific algorithm to it, they're saying, and they took me to the higher realms, and they said, we're installing new AI in you. And I was like, I don't want any artificial intelligence in me. And they're like, okay, now remember, there's different levels of truth. And the word AI, not that it's necessarily hacked to mean artificial intelligence, but there's different levels of truth that have to do with what's the term AI. And so they said, it's not artificial intelligence. We're giving you an astral intellect upgrade. And I was like, what the heck is an astral intellect upgrade? I'm getting so many chills just thinking about it. And it looked like it was like a plug and play, kind of like they pulled one motherboard out and they put a whole new motherboard in, a whole new circuit board into the motherboard kind of a thing. That's what it was. It was kind of like somewhere, it's astrally, so it wasn't down here in the physical, but it was kind of above me. There's like a motherboard of what's running the light body, so to speak. And it's like they pulled out a circuit board and they put a new circuit board in, and they're saying it allows for higher light, higher levels of astral intelligence to come through. And it's got like improved circuitry so that some of these higher dimensional light beings that we've been working with lately, when they try to work with us, sometimes the messages don't get through because we can't route there's a density, and their messages can't be routed correctly down into a cellular level for us to receive them. Almost like it would burn out the circuit board or whatever because it was so high vibe. And so it's like they took out an old one and they put a new one in. Anyway, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to be working with that, but the feeling is that there's still going to be some assimilation in the lower bodies, the mental, emotional, and physical bodies, to be able to work with that information. And so what that means for me is I have to find a way to stay grounded. And so in order to ground through that, I have to go more like shamanic, meaning the work that I do, even right now, it's just like I can barely see you guys. I have to go more like earth-based with the practices that I'm doing so that I can stay grounded with all this high vibrational stuff. So you may see some of the shows switch up a little bit. We may bring both energies in at the same time, or we may do one really out there kind of a show and transmission, and then we may come back and have the next one be a little bit more grounded to balance it out. For me, came through very strongly the other day. The Fae, I got all wrapped up in Brian Froud, and I got taken on a whole journey through his artwork and his the fantasy lands that he's been given access to. And I was like, I want to play there. And there have been a few of my books where the characters have just delved very lightly into the realm of the Fae, and they've been on the verge of getting pulled in, but they got afraid, or they didn't want to, or whatever, and so they pulled back out. And I was kind of like, you know what? I want to step in, not completely, obviously I have a regular life to live, but it's like I want to step in more fully to what's available there in the elemental, with the elementals and the Fae. What does this have to do with the next 3 months? I will share with you what we channeled at the beginning of the year for the energies of this next 3 months, which is July, August, and September. We got believe in your power was a big theme coming up. Energetic support for romance, like, yay, all right. Okay. Sedona came up. Travel within your own country, being available, as being supported by the energies. Love at first sight, whatever that means to you, because our overarching theme for 2022 was falling in love again. So love at first sight, honeymoon, and the Boon comes to light now. And I could fall down a whole rabbit hole with that. if you've been following me for about a year or so, August, right before Lionsgate last year, we worked with shamanism again. We worked with a shaman on the show, and we created a despacho as part of our third key activation. And I created a despacho at that point, and I sent it down the river where I lived. And I asked for a boon from the shamanic elders and the curandero. I had to go back to that episode this morning, like, what did we do then? And now it's saying, so it's been almost a year, that whatever the boon was, if you did that despacho with me, and I guess, I don't know if it's too late or not. I guess if you get guided to do it now, you get guided to do it now. But it's been almost a year since I created that despacho, sent it down the river, and for this quarter, the channeling came in, the boon comes to light now. So whatever that was, I don't even remember what I put into that despacho. I don't know if I kept a record of it or not, but it was part of it was surrendering and letting go of whatever the wishes were that you put inside of it and whatever you requested. And I let it go down the river, and who knows where it ended up. But now they're saying pretty much 12 months or so later that the wishes are being granted from that despacho. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, both personally and collectively. If any of you did that despacho ceremony with me and you want to share either here in the comments where you're at, or messaging me, emailing. Best way to probably get a hold of me is the email. Show email is in all of the notes of the show, but emailing me and letting me know how that's playing out for you. Some of the other themes, believe in your power. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Energetic support for romance. Okay, I don't know really what that means. Travel within your own country sounds fun. Honeymoon, don't know what that means. Could be the honeymoon phase of something. Starting, I guess. Sedona, I'm not exactly sure how that plays in. Because let's just, since we're sitting here, hold on, get some hot chocolate. Let's read. Let's get into the Fae. I'm going to spend July kind of falling into the fairylands, and that was a redirect. So I'm recording this day after the new moon. It's June 29th. I had these ideas for some things I wanted to work on. I was waiting for some things to manifest that hadn't shown up yet. And I was like, yesterday I was getting really kind of she's getting really frustrated. Because I'm like, Spirit, don't tell me things are coming if they're like, oh, they're delayed again. And I was like, okay, I've just had enough. I've really had enough of delays and all of that. I really don't even care. I do care, but I don't want to know why things are delayed. If it's not, meaningful to me. Obviously, if it's something I need to know, please let me know. But if it's some off the wall thing that's out of my control, like, just, all right, fine, right? So there could be things like that coming up for you too, like things that you thought were coming forth are delayed. And then this morning, I jumped timelines last night. So it was kind of a little bit of a test, so to speak, an initiation, like, so how are you going to deal with this delay? Because I could have gotten really thrown off balance by it because of the nature of what it is. And I was finally like, you know what? I have no control over this. I don't even want to. Thinking about it started to like bring my vibe down. And I'm like, you know what? All I can do is control myself and my own auric field and how I react to things. And I just choose not to let this bother me right now. I just can't. I just cannot have any more of that. So I took charge. The soul, the higher self stepped in, and it took charge and just said, that's enough. And just don't want to deal with that. If it's not time for this, whatever it is, I just don't have time to be thinking about it right now. And then this morning I woke up, I felt a lot better, and Spirit says, okay, look, you've been redirected, and I've got on a much higher timeline, and I'm just, just here to serve. Just here to serve. So I've been working for the past couple of days with the Spirit Guides of Tessa Locke. I've started a new story for July, and I really went into, I think this is something for you guys as well, is staying on track with your goals. So I had this planner, my happy planner that I use, but I went through an exercise the other day. I was planning for July, so this may be important for some of you, especially those of you with creative projects. And I said, okay, I want to start a story about fairies with the Spirit Guides of Tessa Locke. And then I thought, well, I don't have any more like a bibliography of all the books that I've created. So I just mapped out. For me, visuals help, and mind mapping helps a lot for me. And just being able to visually see things. So I created a list like of all the books I've created. So this is like a list. I don't know how many there are, 14 or 15 books that are out there now. They're free to read in ebook form. And some of them are on paperback, not all of them. But I was kind of like, what do I want to work on next? And I went through my books where I work on them, and I was like, holy crap, what am I doing? These are all the books that are started and not yet finished. There's like 17 books that have been started and not yet finished. And I was like, I don't like that at all. Like, what the heck is that? It just feels all over the place. And it's kind of like flitting around and starting one thing and like, okay, flitting around, starting something else. And so I'm like, I have to commit somehow and make myself accountable for doing these things. So I'm going to try. I have 3 YouTube channels. I have this channel. I started a tarot channel for all of my oracle decks that I create. And I use a lot of my own oracle decks and tarot decks on that channel. And I've had another channel for quite some time now. It's just TAMI Lynn Chambers. And it was kind of meant to be the landing place for anybody who might find me through my books. And I did, all the content there is really like book readings and me recording some of the audiobooks. So I'm going to be working over on that channel with like works in progress, because not everybody here is interested in the book stuff, all of it. I mean, we do intuitively pick chapters and stuff and use them in our channelings here on the show, but not everybody here is interested in the fiction behind it or the story, all of that, whatever, that's fine. So over there, if you're interested, and I've got links to all these channels in the show notes, I'm working on the audiobook right now of the Miss Vamp, and to keep me accountable for finishing some of these stories, each month I'll pick a book and I'll be posting like works in progress, some of the backstory of the things that I'm working on, kind of like, just read with me kind of a thing. So we'll be doing some fun little events over there that are more surrounded around the books. I do write nonfiction. I do channel. I channel nonfiction as well. And I've got some nonfiction books I'm working on. Some of you have picked up Eat Like a Lemurian. Some of the forthcoming ones there are Fairy Wing Power and Wizard Training. So I want to make sure I finish these things before I start anything else. Like, I really want to see a lot of check marks on this list of 17 books before the end of the year. So I'm going to use that other channel to keep myself accountable for that. That just helps me. If I feel like even one person is hearing it and it's helping one person, that makes me kind of have the impetus to keep going. But if it's just like, oh, just sit down and write a book. And it's not like no one partakes in these. Like plenty of people download and read the darn things over on my publisher site and through Apple and Google and Barnes and Noble and all that. But I don't know, something about it. Something about me being able to present the material and kind of hold myself accountable for showing up and kind of playing with them is exciting to me as well. So maybe you need to do something like that this month for July to keep yourself a little bit organized around some of the work that you're doing. Some of the shows we have planned for July. I'm going to talk about July here for a minute, and then I'm going to go into the next 3 months in a little bit more detail. We've got the 777 portal show coming up. It's probably the next one I'll film. We'll be doing some fairy pick-a-cards and stuff over on the Tarot channel. And I don't know. The Rainbow Rose Order. There's an initiation that needs to happen before we can start diving into the Rainbow Rose Order stuff. So I filmed that whole show, and I'm going to film it again because I didn't really like it. But it's going to be doing the initiation is for you to do a solo camp. So like a solo camping trip, you're going to get the initiation from the guides of the Rainbow Rose Order. I won't go too much into it here, but it's really fun. I'm interested to see what comes to each one of us is going to get, you're kind of going to get your own initiation. And when I get all that set up, I will do that show here as well. And then there could be something else coming later in the month as well. The theme for July 2022 is Big Things Come in Small Packages. I don't know what that means. Maybe, who knows what that means? Let me just read from the book I'm working on for July. This is an intuitive reading, so there's going to be metaphors and things we can use to pick out what might be coming up for us over the next 3 months. So maybe it's going to take 3 months to finish this book. I don't know how long it is. Sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. I have no idea. It's just however the channeling comes through. But get on and put on your master ears and your master senses, and we can tease out the metaphors of the next 3 months as it comes out in this story. This is The Fairies of Lemon Lock. We start with chapter 2, which is the lemon patch. So I created the first chapter. I don't know which show I read it on, but we were working with pirates, and we were going to do a Pirate's Cove kind of a book. And Jenna Lee and the Mist Vamp kind of headed outdoors. She was eating breakfast, and the Mist Vamp came, enveloped her, took her out somewhere, and showed her Pirate's Cove. But she also was talking to fairy children, and two twin fairies showed up. Oh yeah, I don't even remember. My mind is a blank right now, but two twin fairies showed up. It was the last episode we did, and Pirate's Cove was there, and the two twin fairies brought in some information. They were kind of a monad in and of themselves. I won't go through that again, but one of them brought in information for the Rainbow Rose Order. The other one was something that down the line is going to come back and give us, I don't know what gifts she has to share with us yet. Her name is Mylar. But Jenna was out there. She was with the Miss Vamp, and then yesterday I channeled in chapter 2, and I was like, all of a sudden this was the redirect. So you may be getting redirected on some of your goals, some of your projects. Maybe it's a higher timeline you're going to be dealing with. And so it necessitates kind of a rejiggering, so to speak, of things that you're working on. But this is chapter 2, the lemon patch. There was a bustling about, and then suddenly they were at the bottom of the hill. Jenna looked around and couldn't really tell where she was. It seemed like the Pirate's Cove was shrouded now in a dark mist, and she wondered if she should still head over that way. This is the redirection. Or maybe she should go a new way. So this has happened, regardless of when you listen to this, it's happened for you within the past 24 to 48 hours. You're getting redirected. Spirit is moving you to a higher timeline. The Miss Vamp was nowhere to be found. Instead, the smell of lemons in what seemed to be a pie or tart filled the air around Jenna. The smell was so aromatic, and yet at the same time, the sweetness of it was a little overpowering. So maybe it's a better timeline. It's brighter, like lemony, fresh, overpowering in a sense that maybe it's so high vibe, like what I'm feeling now in the crown. It's really like headachy and a lot of energy moving through this. What is this? This is my divine feminine side on the left. A lot of energy moving down through that side. The sweetness was a little overpowering. Jenna didn't know what she was supposed to do. The lemon scentedness carrying over her, she felt like she had to see at least what was causing this enchanting smell. She stepped over a small rock embankment and made her way onto a path that hadn't really seemed to be there until now. So many metaphors about this higher timeline. The lemon smell getting stronger now. She closed her eyes slightly, knowing that sometimes a full-on gaze can obstruct the magical views. We get that a lot with fairies, where like there's hagstones with holes, and they say, you know, if you look at the hole in the hagstone, you can better see into the fairy realms. Or sometimes if you just like kind of close your eyes and kind of make your gaze really soft and squint a little bit, like in your peripheral, you can see. So she was trying to do that. And then she saw what lay ahead under the boughs of an ancient-looking tree. There appeared to be a small encampment. There was music playing and the sound of a harpsichord lilting through the glen she now found herself in. Wow, the wonders she could find just by choosing to follow her heart. She knew it was good to have the mind, but she always found so much more fun and adventure when she let go and allowed her heart to lead. That Miss Vamp, he always seemed to know exactly what she needed. Jenna made a mental note to leave a small offering out for him when she got home. The lemon-scented tart smell got her attention again. She bent down and looked on the ground around her. She could sense she was being watched, but she didn't feel anyone around. Her mind got the best of her, and she tried to talk herself out of moving forward. But she stayed in her heart as best she could. So there's this push-pull right now, and it was happening for me this morning, like, do I get back on that old timeline where I was kind of grumpy about my stuff not coming in? Or do I just follow my heart? I just want to have fun. That's good. I can hear it, get the frustration sometimes. If I go there, can just totally upset the apple cart. And so stay in your heart. And she stayed in her heart, and then she saw them around the base of the ancient tree, and peeking in around the small rocks and hedges were all manner of whimsical folk. She took a step forward, and then she fell in. Oh, okay, so I'm going to let myself fall in to this fae, the realm of the fae. I'm going to maybe pick a particular spot, maybe go here. You may have your own if you want to follow on this journey and kind of fall into a little bit of the whimsical and the magical and the earthiness of working with the fairy realms. Then I invite you to pick a realm. I'm sure there's plenty, and let yourself fall in. You know, maybe it's a little tree around where you live, and you can go out there and you can kind of just hang out with them. Because the next chapter is going to be called Making Lemonade. So how do you make lemonade out of lemons or whatever? What is that? When life deals you lemons, make lemonade or whatever. So that's what I'm going to be working with. I'm going to challenge myself to draw. I don't think I'm going to get to a fae a day, but I'm going to try to work on drawing some fae. Improving my art skills a little bit by taking some art challenges, doing some drawing practices, and if I do, I'll be posting those either on my YouTube shorts or on Instagram or TikTok. I don't know. I have all those places to hang out. The Loveland Summer deck is complete. I've not had a chance to order it yet. The turnaround times for my print-on-demand place are really long, and so I don't know. There's some upgrades coming, I hope, in the near future where I won't have to work like that anymore, and I'll be able to have a lot more decks on hand that I can just pre-order. That's just not in my budget right now to order, $1,000 worth of decks or whatever and just have them sitting around. So it's just not good customer service for me to be the one to have to do that either. But anyway, there's many things that I'm working on manifesting there for the decks and the books and all that. The other thing, if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's different ways to do that. I have an Etsy wish list for things we could use here on the show to improve our experience together. I also have my coffee page. Some of you donate via PayPal, and I thank you very much when you send me little donations. It is very helpful. But I have a coffee page. I have a community goal going on right now because the old MacBook Pro has died. And so I do all my work right now on a tablet and a phone. And so I've started a community challenge trying to raise funds to in the budget for a new MacBook. So if you're interested in contributing to that cause, the link to my coffee page is there, and it's just like you can pledge whatever. I think it's typically like $3 or whatever, but you can actually see the community goal and how much has been pledged towards that intention, which at this point is a new MacBook, which will greatly help with editing, proofing, card creation, editing shows. All of that would be very beneficial. All right, so with all of that being said, and there's services, if you're interested in the work that I do and you want to take your soul work a little bit deeper and you're interested in healing services, I just do all sorts of work, light language activation, healing, shamanic work, starseed work, twin flame stuff, all of that, deep, deep explanations for all of my services are all on my website, and the link to all of that is also in the show notes. I'm going to use 2 decks right now to tease out the energies a little bit more of the next 3 months. We've got this tarot at the end of the rainbow, and I wanted to bring in flowers. So I've got the flower therapy card by Doreen Virtue and Robert Reeves. So let's just pick a tarot card each for July, August, and September. If you like to see me shuffling, my shuffling is a little bit slow. But there's some people that I just love the way they shuffle their cards. All right, this is July, August, September, and we'll put a flower therapy card on top. And then we'll see if any light language or healing needs to come in here after we're done with this. And then we will send you on your way. I think we need to clear the crown. It just feels really strong. Here, let's see. August, September. No, you know what I mean. Oh, we got 2. July, August, September. We got 2 for that. September. All right, let's look at July. All right, so for July, our tarot card is, I'm really bad about this. This is the Queen of Pentacles. This is the Queen of Pentacles. Look at her. I know if you're on that podcast, you can't see it, but she's like a tree in a sense with huge roots coming out of her head, almost like a Medusa, but with tree roots instead of snakes, holding a giant pentacle. Oh, I got this card the other day. Foo-foo. I got this yesterday, or last evening, this came up. Time to decide. Wisteria. Make a decision now so you can move forward. I think this all goes back to what I was already talking about for July. So like this list of 17 unfinished books, the projects that are just wanting to be done, but I'm just sitting there and I hadn't really been able to start anything. It's finally like, okay, I'm just going to pick something. I'm just going to pick one thing and focus on that one thing till it's done, which is what I did with Loveland Summer deck. I finished it. It's ready now. I just have some other things to do before I can actually put it out there. So make a decision now so you can move forward. Just pick something. So all these roots coming out of her head, like that's all the ideas and stuff that are coming in, are coming down, are coming online. And you've got to be able to ground them somehow to be able to physicalize them. And so even that too, like pick a project. So if your heart's desire is writing or drawing or whatever it is, let those ideas come out and be channeled through that project. It doesn't have to be what anybody else is doing. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. As long as it speaks to your heart, you know, maybe it feels like child's play to you. Maybe it does feel like it's too easy. Like, this is too easy. This isn't work. You know, they're saying, think again. That's the boon. They're saying that's the boon. The blessing is that it feels so easy it can't be work, but that's the work. And sometimes I get that way too, because I'm like, well, this stuff comes easy to me. This can't be my real job, you know, like channeling and writing and creating cards and doing all of my services and all of my healing work. Like, that just, to me, that just comes every day. That's just something I do every single day. It seems way too easy to me. I mean, you may be like, what? She's talking about that? Doesn't seem easy at all. You know, working with starseeds, helping everybody else with your healing so you can get on your soul mission, like that just seems like every day, like nothing to me. Not that it's not nothing, but it just comes so naturally. I'm like, that's my job. Like, it just seems too good to be true that would be what I would do to earn a living or make ends meet. And Spirit's like, nope, that's what it is. So just do something and get started on it. And, you know, maybe there are some trials and tests and initiations involved where you don't see the benefits right away. Maybe you have to wait a while and you're put through some tests and some challenges to see, like, are you really going to stick with this? Is this really meant for you? Maybe it's just giving you time to explore some options and see what you like. And then, you know, if it's meant for you and you really love it, then it just keeps coming back around. I can't tell you how many websites I've created and deleted with my services and my books and my cards. Well, back then I didn't have a lot of books and cards, but I'm talking about, I've been doing this since 2015, you know, working on this soul work for you all. And I can't tell you how many times I've created services and deleted them. Like, oh, who would want to do that? You know, nobody wants this stuff. I can't tell you how many YouTube channels and Instagram accounts I've created and deleted. Some of you that have been with me for a while, I mean, we had a Patreon for a while. I got rid of that. So some of it's trial and error and finding what you like. You know, I didn't feel like I liked Patreon. I was like, another dang platform. And I mean, we had a Vine account. I've had so many different things. So it kind of is refining. And the things that have stuck over the past freaking 7 years now, 7 years, have been my books, my cards, my services that I offered you guys, my YouTube channels, you know, a couple of my little social media accounts that I've kind of gotten away from. But just pick something and just start. Just start where you are. If it's meant to find you, it'll keep coming back, knocking on your door, and you'll know that those are the things that are meant for you. And just enjoy yourself and try not to, although I am like 7 years. All right. Although, you know, they're saying trust the time that it's taking. It's different for each one of you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you can get into that mode of comparison and like, well, why is so-and-so started? I do that sometimes too. I'm like, so-and-so started their YouTube account a year ago and they have 200,000 followers. What? Just try not to go there because everyone's path is different. You all have lessons to learn. You all have things that you're working on. And you're just all meant to kind of pop off at different times, so to speak. All right, that's a lot for July. Let's see what we got for September. Why do I keep wanting to go to September? September must be really something going on. First is August. For August, we got... a Knight of Swords. He looks very thoughtful, very much thinking, and he's got like a rainbow arrow that's pointing kind of up. He looks very pensive. And the oracle card we got is from Patience. Begonia, your prayers have been heard and they are being answered. What do you want to say about August? August is Lionsgate. I want one more card to go with this. You were probably trying to give it to me before. Which one? Flower therapy. One more flower therapy card to go with this very pensive Knight of Swords and this freaking Patience card. Here we go again. The other card we got is Emotional Healing. It's the Bleeding Heart. It's safe for you to let go of old emotional pain. By doing so, you allow your heart to mend. 2 pink cards, so a lot of heart healing in the month of August. A lot of like, I think it's kind of like, it's kind of like, hold on, I gotta redirect my body. It's kind of like, which way do I go? Like, you can't see, if you're on the podcast, you can't see this, but it's like a troll, and he's sitting on a rock, and he just looks like the thinker or something. He's got a huge sword. The sword is pointing down into the earth. My throat chakras, there's a lot that needs to be said, and this little troll guy is just like, what do I do? What do I say? How do I say it? My heart's been hurt. And the rainbow arrow is pointing up, like it's like, well, when in doubt, always go up, always go to the highest vibration that you possibly can. Always speak from the heart. We know your heart's been hurt before. The bleeding hearts are here on this emotional healing card. And it's like, when in doubt, go up. That's just what I keep hearing. When in doubt, go up. And what with the Patience card? He's a Knight. Emotional healing. It's kind of like you feel stuck. It's like August, you kind of feel like stuck. Like you want to move forward, but you don't know which way to go. And your guides keep showing you like, well, go up, go up. Go away from the bleeding heart and go up. But it's like you're just not quite getting it. And so you're just being asked to have patience with yourself for the month of August. And we'll probably towards the latter part of July here tease out August a little bit more. Because the themes we got for this quarter were energetic support for romance. We had Honeymoon coming in, and it's like, this feels very like, he's not really moving, he's sitting down. So maybe there's energetic support to help you get past some of these things. And so for August, you're just asked to have patience with yourself as you heal. Oh, no wonder I didn't want to talk about August. I don't know why. Let's look at September. September is the Queen of Swords. Look at her. So she's very balanced. She's got a very balanced stance. If you can't see this card, she's sitting with her arm, she's got the sword kind of between her legs, like pointing down to the ground. She's got her arms kind of balanced on top of it. Her rainbow wings are perfectly balanced on each side of her. She's got this beautiful crown of flowers, and she looks very strong and determined. And the other 2 cards were, the oracle cards are World Energy. The earth is going through a transition of energy, and your sensitive body is feeling it. You're not alone, accept the help of others. And financial healing. Your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in every way. That's the yellow lily. So I would say, even though too we've divided these cards into like July, August, and September, that all these energies really are starting now. So it's like the energies over the next 3 months really are about getting started on something and getting going, dealing with this a little bit of inertia around your heart space. Being patient with yourself as you do some emotional healing around old emotional pain and allowing your heart to mend. And when in doubt, always go up, always choose the highest timeline. So if you're in a spot where you're kind of feeling stuck, like this sucks, you know, when you start getting into any of that frustration and energy or whatever, just choose to go up. Just ask your guides to put you on a higher timeline, and they'll help you clear out anything that is keeping you in a lower vibe, and they'll help show you, just ask to be shown. And for me, this is kind of how I was feeling yesterday. And the way for me to get out of that is to just dive into what is known to me, which is I can control myself, my reality. I can control what I work on. And so I just kind of dive into my work a little bit more. And then it also looks like there's support here for Queen of Swords is very balanced. So it looks like you are going to be feeling a little bit, you're going to have to keep yourself a little bit in balance. Like we already talked about with this, your sensitivities increasing as we get closer to Lionsgate and beyond. There's upgrades going on in the planetary consciousness right now. And as it shifts and ebbs and flows, it's just going to keep you, some days you're going to be really able to get a lot done, and other days you're going to have to pull back and let yourself relax and have a timeout. I call it like a couch day or whatever. Let yourself have a couch day where you kind of just don't do a whole lot. And then this financial healing seems to be a part of it as well. And money can come in many, I mean, it's not, it does specifically say money struggles are a thing of the past. So I think you're going to have to balance your thoughts around like abstract ways that money might come in for you. And since it's energy is limitless and opportunities are limitless, you could suddenly have this great idea, or sometimes you may just get contacted out of the blue by somebody who wants to support you or help you. So just let the universe know, you know, you're open to all avenues of receiving assistance so that you're not blocking anything from coming through. All right, is there anything else we want to talk about? All right, let's do a little light language then. They're saying that's all for the channeling. Just to clear the crown a little bit and help you go on your way, because this just is like really overpowering. So let's take a deep breath. Nyaraha, nya yohof, nyere ikikikara keke. Henyai, henyai, hier kur ursit hier tekata, shirndir hartia kitur chichin. Huilin tilin dilara liara kiduro to titere. Chukrotikere erem hibaratu kunjiratikate tera turturishintikere ukirentietira ukritiketeka artikate. Chendik I ur indiri iru ukufahake karate. Nyarakatake iratakatake and hirakatake iratakate 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 she shu she actually codes coming directly through Solaris because I have a sun on my wall, like a sun. I admit it just really captured my attention as I was doing that. So a lot of these are coming through as solar codes, and they've just got to be grounded down. All right, kids, we've chatted long enough. Thank you for spending your time with me. I love you all very much. And the next time I see you, we will be doing our 7/7 portal show, talking about the third door that has to be opened for this portal in order to get us to, this is our Journey to Lionsgate series. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you all again next time. Take care.